the East African member states got an idea, or even the president of Congo got an idea of having his colleagues, deploy in the Congo to help fight the enemy, who's the M23. We're all wondering, and also that those who are optimistic, that now that there is a collective effort against the M23, we might see the end of the M23. However, this was not the case. 1 year down the road, the M23 continues to survive. Something that didn't go well with President Tshisekedi. It made him become, kind of skeptical whether these people had the same mission that he had. The mission of, bring the M23 to an end. He revealed this when he was in Botswana, way back in June, when he said that these people here whom we brought to help us fight our enemies, looks like the other ones are their allies. And now, the East African Regional Forces vacated Congo. First of all, to what extent could the allegations, I won't treat them as allegations, of Mr. Tshisekedi be true? Number two, when he made these allegations, I expected a response from President Museveni and President Ruto of Kenya to come out and respond to him, because these were huge allegations against a fellow member state of the East African community. Moreover, your neighbor, especially Uganda in this case. But these two presidents, they chose to be silent. So where does this leave our relationship with Congo? Two, could that be true? Could it be true that the East African Regional Forces were actually working alongside the M23, or they didn't consider the M23 their rebels? They are enemies, rather.
I was going to say something, that if Tshisekedi is acting that way, he's not fit to be a president of a country with so much wealth, with a club of fellow presidents who wish Africa to advance and progress and become prosperous and relatively independent. I'm saying relatively because now the world is interdependent. And that connectivity. But then I'm forgiving him. He's seeking re-election. And the society to which he's communicating to is still a younger society. Even US, Obama wrote himself that he knew that it is not facts or entirely ideas, but emotions will make people choose a leader. Now, he is appealing to people who is diverting, that is scapegoating, avoiding responsibility, but then showing the people that we have an enemy. Actually, in the process of making a cult, in most cases, after attaining a certain level and there is no advance, what you do is to create a them and us. That is Rwanda first. And he declared war on Rwanda. He comes...
He has his justifications for that,
He has. Whether they are wrong according to society and the international community, that is another case. Everyone has an opinion of himself or herself about certain stuff. You get it? Now, he knows very, very, very well that the East African Community Regional Force did not go into Congo under a mandate to fight M23. It is a peacekeeping, it was on a peacekeeping mission. One, waiting on DRC to undertake political actions that can solve the problem. Because the origin, indeed, is bad politics. Literally, there is no government in the eastern part of the DRC, so to say. Then there is, M23 His problem is from Rwanda. But from people who committed genocide.
The Interahamwe.
The Interahamwe. They are in DRC. The government of DRC cannot operate properly, or it doesn't have a proper military machine and intelligence to enforce law and order and security according to what they want. Now, Interahamwe...
Are they there on the permission of DRC?
True. They are. And they are fighting alongside DRC. But FDLR, the Interahamwe, are fighting an ethnic war against the Tutsi of DRC.
The Banyamulenge.
The Banyamulenge. Of Banyarwanda descent. Who were there before even the colonialists drew the border?
So you can't
that this is Congo, this is Uganda.
In that case, we can't consider them Rwandans there. They are Congolese.
They are Congolese citizens.
But Congo has...
Now Rwandans have come from Rwanda, having committed the genocide, and now they see people similar to those they hate and want to eliminate. Now they are targeting them. And the DRC is looking on. Now it is saying, leave justice alone. The East African Regional Force. Leave justice alone, work for me. He's not a statesman. Even a statesman must create a national idea for people to follow, but also not to rely on mercenaries.
According to the
A
president,
mercenary cannot defend
his major concern is security. Number two, you talked about him trying to, win political capital.
Yeah, he's undergoing elections.
Yes, but the people that he's talking to, the first thing they need is security. If the East African...
And his state has failed to establish security.
But the presence of the East African Regional Force, had they brought about any difference? Because if they had brought
about... UN has been there for over 20 years.
If they had brought about any difference, Mr. Vice, if they had brought about any difference, and people had started, enjoying some tranquility, courtesy of the presence of the East African Regional Force, then having them out would have actually angered the people, and there would be annoyed with their
What can
president.
the people do? What can the people do?
People can speak. Would have heard those voices complain that
and the people who do complain are M23 who are a target of the state. They complain.
Before we talk about M23.
Not M23, the people that M23 represents.
Who are those? The Banyamulenge?
The Batusi.
Banyamulenge.
The Banyamulenge. Really didn't want
so wait,
the EAC
is representing these people.
Is fighting for their security. Just like when you are in a homestead and then you are always under attack and you have some grown-up kids who will say, let us keep guard of our home. That's M23.
You're accusing President Tshisekedi unfairly and wrongly because he just came into presidency.
I'm accusing him as an observer, not as a politician.
I know.
Yeah.
Let me say why I say so. He just moved into presidency recently. He's just about to finish his first term. But he's not the only one. Even his predecessors, they have always, looked at M23 as a threat. Do you recall?
No, M23 emerged when Kabila took power.
Exactly.
Yes.
He was also considering them as enemies.
By the way,
he was considering them as enemies. That's why at one time he flashed them out until when they came and they grouped in Uganda.
By the way, M23 just another name. There was an armed group in that area, even during the time of Che Guevara when he came around in the 1960s. I'm just forgetting its name. Who are Tutsi?
So that time, what were their interests?
Because
the Interahamwe had not yet entered Congo.
The Interahamwe had not entered the Congo, but then that stuff has always been around. There were issues of communists, then capitalists. Then these Tutsi were on one side. Either they were communists or sort of, because they were supported with China And that's why even Che Guevara went there. So those other side, the Mobutu side and the others, they were capitalists on the other side of USA. Politics has always been there. Now, just like here in Uganda, when the Tutsi here were DP because they were Catholics. In the Western, then some of the Ushenyi boys who were UPC youth wingers, they targeted them because they are supporting DP and not UPC. And that's how the issue of Banyarwanda even today is emerging. Because of being on the wrong side of politics.
It's deliberate to be on the wrong side of politics.
You are always on your right side. And the right side and the wrong side today might emerge.
So
the right side
let's talk about the
time.
possibility of having the East African Regional Force replaced by the COMESA forces. It's very optimistic that these are going to help to pacify the region, especially that ungovernable area of DRC. Do you think his thoughts are correct?
I was at Kololo. President Museveni was meeting
the ghetto youth?
Ghetto structure.
You were there?
Youth, yes.
Okay, just a second. I want.
I was going to tell you something.
No, before you tell me
you ask.
I'm concerned. You were one of the leaders there. If you're one of the leaders of any of those groups,
I'm not one of the leaders.
You did a bad job.
I'm not a leader of.
I saw how the youth misbehaved in front of the president.
Yeah, those are the ghettos that we want to correct. And therefore, the president had to see them from all over. But then...
Was this premeditated? The government misbehaved in front of
No. Actually, security
An old man telling more than 3 times, keep quiet, listen to me.
Yes,
shut up.
We want him to see that those are those that we want to be transformed through mindset change.
Carry on, Vincent. Tell me what you want
Now, when I was at Kololo,
yes,
they sang the President Rastafarian and our ghetto stuff, songs. He said, let me sing you a song. My song you have sung for me. Chino chechisera chetu ino kulwana mubisere byemaso tufune mirembe.
Also on that note,
the president doesn't.
You were there, and maybe sometimes you also get to meet the president. Let me say this: when I saw him say, "Let me sing you my song," where I was seated where, but I had to find something to support my head because it was about to fall down. He was trying to sing a song that was written by a former comrade. That was Mr. Chivurugunyu. Remember him, Sergeant Chivurugunyu? You remember the circumstances under which he died?
I don't know. I don't remember.
This is a man who was, pushed on a cart to be taken to hospital. He died a miserable man.
Sorry
Most
for
of
him.
these songs that he sang, he was in your area, Kawempe area.
Sorry.
The president can remember
no one
those
should
songs,
die like that in
how
Uganda.
they inspired the soldiers of the NRA and they seized power. But he died, a miserable man. So the president ought to know. He ought to know how the man who composed those songs that were inspiring them, how he died.
So
Carry on.
he didn't claim maybe that it is a song directly composed by him, but maybe my favorite song. Let us quote him under context. But this is what I was telling you. Those are youth. And probably joining the other side of politics, and yet we are facing an external threat. The president doesn't just sing. He was communicating, prepare for war, such that the future can be secure.
External threat?
Yes.
From who?
Now, Katabazi, the Deputy Director General of ISO, this year went in Western Uganda and called the RDCs and the DSOs and told them this thing. The region is facing a threat. 1 or 2 or more regimes must fall. You get it? And Von Clausewitz says, war does not come unexpectedly, but does not also spread instantaneously. So don't say he said it long ago. War is built up. You can see it building up. And we had a problem with the same force when Kabila finally died and when he turned against the forces that helped him take power.
Laurent Kabila.
Laurent Kabila. And then there came into a situation where Rwanda was on one side, Chad, Zimbabwe, Angola, and the other states there were against Uganda and Rwanda. And there was really a serious threat. But remember, Congo is a business, a mining area. In an era where we have just emerged out of COVID, and therefore the world facing both war, a crisis, the world, I'm saying about the world, in terms of war and in terms of the economy, the world economy. Now, there is gold, there are minerals there in DRC. And anybody willing to act as a mercenary can come in there. Whether they can defeat an idea which is an East African community and maybe NRM's Pan-Africanism, we don't know. But the president appealed, this is the time to fight so that we can have a secure future. And that can also, you can relate it with the ADF attacks here in Uganda, making us busy on this side as others are preparing for us on the other side. But the president told you, this is the time, and he appealed to a fighting force, which are the youth.
Besides fighting our enemies there, what is our other interest?
Oh, what is your primary interest as a person, as a home, a household, and as a country?
Security.
Security. National security is important.
Yeah, I know.
And national security is in so many things. Military threats, global change, so many stuff going on there. Environmental issues and a lot. That anything that threatens your livelihood as a nation.
Vincent, when I saw the
is a problem.
When I saw the words of President,
and it is our interest.
When I saw the words of President Tshisekedi here, accusing us, so the first time we are being accused of meddling in the affairs of Congo, destabilizing Congo. Even when we claim to be actually working to stabilize it. These have always accused us. Where does this leave our friendship? When you're being accused of destabilizing the security of another country. More so a neighbor.
I like President Museveni.
I know you like him.
At one time, as a person, and his ideas, but at one time he said, a journalist asked him, long ago I was a bit young, who are your friends? Do you have friends? He said, me, I don't have friends. I have comrades. So are nations and states.
No, he added.
They have no friends.
He added on this. The only friends he had, they're both dead. Rwigema and Mr. Machel.
And he's the one who, and he's the only one he gave a name, a direct name, Fred Rwigema, because of the loyalty that he saw a certain man called Rwigema in Tanzania, a Tutsi, who was very loyal to Che Guevara, even in hard times.
Okay.
And he dreamt about him.
But take us to Congo.
To
where
DRC.
this leave us? Because these are people.
We have no friendship.
That's what
I was telling you about Museveni. States have no friends. They have interests to keep. And therefore, if our threat is there, you as a citizen, what would you prefer? To fight your enemy in your territory or to fight an enemy there? I like the Bush doctrine. He said, we shall prevent attacks on the USA before they materialize. How shall we do it? We shall go to the enemy and fight him or her there. And two, which for us we have not gone to, whoever harbors a terrorist must be dealt with as a terrorist himself. And therefore, he must account for those terrorist actions against us.
Shortly after speaking that,
he attacked.
No, even he attacked, and then also saw subsequent attacks in. You remember, was it in Boston during the athletics, where terrorists came and they bombed, and a number of people were killed. So this you said the states consider their interests.
Yeah, that's what
on
I
top
was
of
telling you
French.
about the doctrine of Bush. What would you prefer? If those Boston attacks you are talking about, if the enemy was not attacked, how much would be in USA and maybe the world over? So me, I prefer going into Congo such that our people can play football,
I hear the president,
music,
I hear the president,
and then business.
I hear the president of Rwanda has the same conception. That Rwanda is too small to
Yeah.
have a war there.
Yeah,
And if a country wants to engage it, what's going to happen in
and that would be my strategy and the best. Gwe oyagala okulwanira olutalo mu lujewo nga neiba akuyikiriza. Genda olwanira eri. Amadirisa ago gatike.
Okay.
Abaana abo bekweke mudde wansi w'ebitanda, we shall fight there. But it is both in DRC's community and Ugandan community to be at peace, trade, develop, because what we manufacture here, they can buy. What they have, we buy. And therefore, with that peace and business, prosperity comes up. And then we take our position on this planet Earth.
So Vincent, at the M23,
As one of the top people.
how do we perceive the M23? I'm talking about us as Uganda, as the UPDF which is on the ground. Are they our enemies? Are they our frenemies? Or are they our friends or allies? Who are they to us? How come we've never engaged them? Two, remember even when they were flashed out, they regrouped in Uganda. I think March 23rd, that's where the name comes from, M23, March 23rd. They regrouped, and the regrouping happened in Uganda.
The regrouping didn't happen in Uganda. The M23 withdrew. I don't remember its name. I forget. First, they came into Uganda, being convinced. Lay down your arms by the Nairobi Peace Accord. Lay down your arms. A, B, C, D will be taken care of. That's the political solution that was there. Over 1,000 were detained. Is it in Bihanga or Muhanga? Somewhere there in Western Uganda. Now, they waited for years until they escaped. Went back into Congo, regrouped, took up arms. Nothing was happened. Their people, their families were being slaughtered back in DRC, and DRC is not taking any action to implement what was agreed upon. So, when they had a chance to escape, they went.
But there's not any one incident where the UPDF has ever engaged in 2025.
Why should they?
That's why I'm asking you.
UPDF is for justice.
And you're dodging my question.
Though I'm not,
Who are they to us?
I'm not, no. You know, you can see justice. M23.
If you don't answer that, I understand. Because even on weekend, when I had Major Charles Kabona, still he was hesitant to answer my question. But anyway, let's now talk about what is well known and something that we're free to talk about. That is the ADF, because that one is a known rebel. Was it this very week? We saw them unleashing another attack on us. 10 of our countrymen were killed in Kamwenge. Something that has prompted President Museveni to consider reestablishing the LDU. Before he joined me here, I was reminding them to be cautious as they recruit these people, because they might recruit the allies of the ADF unknowingly. And this is going to give a huge chance. This is going to be very advantageous to the ADF, because you'll have got informants within the UPDF, which is going to be hard for them to be fought. Do you think this is a solution? And number two, every time they come out to tell us that, look, this is the end of ADF, we have finished them. Shortly after that, we saw an attack unleashed by ADF on us, takes people's lives. So is ADF, becoming stronger or weaker?
Given that ADF has not been eliminated, it has capacity to do damage to Uganda. Because a guerrilla force, you can't know its number. Usually it operates in small groups. But it's at the initial stage, before it transits, I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about its strength, both in numerical and the other technologies, including arms. Its most preoccupation is survival as it recruits and trains, and maybe also awaiting political outcomes on a state it's fighting, but they must be prepared. All the time they are preparing to transit into a conventional force by recruitment and why am I telling you survival? They scatter. They don't engage their enemy.
And by scattering, this was the end of them.
In pitched. How?
By scattering.
How?
Because this is what the president was telling us, that these people have been badly beaten, and now they are just wandering.
I have analyzed something I usually hear, because that's what people hear. Allow me to use it. Omulokole bw'asaba, and they say, gwe muzimu genda muveeko. Kakati omulala n'agamba, fire nkwocha. If you had a choice, wandiyagadde bikibeere ki? Fire, destruction. Because even the Bible says that when the demons get out of you,
they enter another soul.
They go. Body. And then they discover that there is a room in your soul. When they come back, they don't come back one if they went one. They come back 7,000.
Okay.
So when they scatter is survival. You have not destroyed. If you tell me I have put out of action, that's okay. Dead. But then they have scattered. Every time you move, you have an opportunity to recruit, to learn something and change strategy and survive and eventually build, gain strength and achieve your objective, which is maybe if it is taking power.
But haven't you heard the government always tell us, through the president himself, that ADF has now been weakened. They are no longer threat to us.
You are saying what is right. Weakened. You can be resuscitated when you are weakened, and then you come back to your health, even to more than what you had.
Is this a sustained lie? Because
it is not a sustained lie. He's telling you the truth that ADF is weakened. You are sick, you are weak, you are not dead. Therefore, you can be worked on and then regain your health to full capacity.
It's coming to 2 years now. Because I remember deployed, was it in December 20? It's coming 2 years, it's already 2 years, I think. Now, ADF would expect them to be over. Because the president was like, now that we have sought and gotten the permission from a counterpart in Congo to enter Congo and then, search for these people, this is going to be the end of them. 2 years down the road, they're still talking about the ADF.
They are not in this building. Which you can count and freely move, and maybe even this building, it can take you strategy when the enemy is here.
Do you remember the video?
If the enemy has food,
do you remember the videos the president used to share with us?
And everything.
The aerial videos that we were taking.
Hey, Congo is a bush, it's a forest, not a bush. An equatorial type of forest.
Equatorial forests.
Hey, with a thick canopy, this upper covering. An enemy, and you cannot fire anyhow with it. Those trees are a defense. Maybe the only enemy of ADF today, where they are, is maybe mosquitoes. But mosquitoes don't exist where it is too cold. So ADF can have its health. Its problem, maybe it is medicine and food and maybe a population to recruit from nearby. That's his problem. Otherwise, firepower, your firepower is no problem to them. Maybe when they are marching to a destination and you are timing them, that here I can see them.
But this, because according to the UN, they told us that there are over 120 rebel outfits that operate in DRC. These rebel groups, how do they manage to survive, alongside each other without engaging each other, without stepping on the foot of each other?
Those are a business entity.
Do they even know that they are
A militia.
Do they even know that they are there with colleagues and they were...
They know. What they want, this is my territory, my recruitment area, my mining area. Toyingira wangi.
Because I've never heard...
That's why they have...
I've never heard of any incident where...
They have no idea they are fighting for.
Each other.
And that
Congo
informs
is big enough
you.
to accommodate all of them.
That informs you why Tshisekedi is not concerned about these many and only the one. M23. This is a business entity. Even politicians in DRC, they own these. All these ones sponsor those others' campaigns. That's what happens.
No.
They are a militia making business for UN, for politicians in Kinshasa. So for them, they have no problem. Man, they discuss from Kinshasa, don't engage my boys, they are in Katanga. Another said, mine are in India, please don't cross.
Okay.
That's what happens. So those ones are in business. They have no idea they are fighting for. They are not a threat to Tshisekedi.
But M23 is, remember, one time they even seized the Goma, don't you remember? Until when the forces of Congo came and flushed them out.
They withdrew voluntarily. You should not be lying too. The issue was, if they capture Goma, which is a capital city of the eastern side of DRC, because there is talk of, in the international community, rumors even DRC, that they want to carve for themselves a country. So by capturing and occupying that place, it's like the next thing is to declare a state. There is already an airport.
They would want that, and they would do that if they had the capacity.
But there is always, there is a consensus. They have the capacity. They have the capacity. Why are they not flashed out? They have the capacity. If at one time they took it, even now if they want, they can take it. But you know, there is concession. Even when you are a rebel or a gorilla, there is diplomacy. Museveni did not win just because he had the arms. Actually, one of the strengths of Museveni is that he's a good diplomat. He can negotiate. You don't look at him. He got the arms, he got the support, he got the goodwill of the international community to leave him, even when they are not supporting him, just because he communicated. So, fighting to take Goma, or restraining yourself to take Goma, even when you have the capacity, that's diplomacy. Let's negotiate. You are saying I'm willing to negotiate.
You're saying that
I'm willing to wait.
Have the capacity.
Yes.
To, secede from.
They have the capacity to take
carve
Goma.
Out
they have the capacity
from the main Congo and form a new state.
They have the capacity to take Goma. Secession is not only localized and maybe domestic in terms of your country and the neighbors, but also it is an international thing. Now, we are here. We want an integrated East Africa. And you are seceding? Bringing other complications of another small state? No.
South Sudan seceded.
South Sudan seceded because they were...
what was one of the...
really irreconcilable...
Wait a second. What was one of the main reasons for the secession of South Sudan? Everybody agreed that there was marginalization of the black Sudanese. In this case, you are the one who told us that there is marginalization of a particular group. Who are they? We call them?
The Banyamulenge.
By how many are they in terms of size?
I don't know, but they must be over even 5M. There are many.
5 million?
Yeah, they must.
It's a big population of people.
Just like you see Banyarwanda here, how many do you think people having Banyarwanda blood flowing in their veins? How many are they?
I'm sure myself I'm one of those. My mother is a pure
You will find here about 7 of them. 7M here.
But that doesn't make us Rwandans.
No, we are citizens of Uganda.
Yes.
Hey, I'm telling you that. You are a citizen of Uganda. Just like they are Congolese in Angola. They are also Congo people. The Bakongo, not as Congolese as citizens. The Bakongo tribe, they are in Angola, they are in Congo, DRC. They are Banyarwanda in Rwanda, they are Banyarwanda in where? in Uganda.
So the point I was making here is that now that everybody, including our president, by the way, our president was at the center stage of you know, helping South Sudan secede because he believed that they were marginalized. He always talked about this, blaming Omar al-Bashir for
that was an option for him.
In Congo, if the Banyamulenge are being marginalized, yet they are citizens, Congo doesn't recognize them as citizens. If there's this kind of marginalization, these are people who have been there since time immemorial. If they had, you know, ambitions of seceding, I thought they would.
They don't have that ambition. They are Pan-Africanists. They are Pan-Africanists. Just like Garanga was a Pan-Africanist. He believed in one Sudan. But he saw that they are not, the North is not willing to accommodate those small differences.
Yet he became the vice president.
Yeah, he became the vice president.
And how can I say they were not willing to work with him?
Yeah, he was not. So even M23 is a Pan-African. They are Pan-Africans.
Our time is
brothers
fast
in,
spent. Listen, we have to get out of here. Yes.
Yeah, they have their brothers in Tanzania. They have their brothers in Burundi. They have their brothers in Uganda. They have their brothers in Rwanda. Even in DRC itself, the Banyarwanda are many, regardless of their caste.
All right.
Of being Tutsi or Hutu or Tutsi.
I thank you, Vincent Nzaramba. Thank you so much, our dear viewers. We've come the end of the day break. And also we've come the end of the week. Tomorrow is a Saturday. The dialogue will be on, as always, 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. I'll be here with a huge panel as we discuss matters pertaining to the development of this country. But for now, me and the team, we are wishing you a very good festive season.